Joining me on the panel tonight are the Shadow Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, often touted as a future Labour leader, though perhaps not if people like me keep banging on about it. Sorry about that. The TV entrepreneur, James Caan, the editor of The Spectator magazine, Fraser Nelson, and the novelist, writer and editor-in-chief of The Lady, no less, Rachel Johnson. Now, Dave and Sam have already packed their bags and are trying to contain their excitement at the prospect of actually flying on Air Force One, complete with the special packs of presidential M&Ms. You don't get that on Cameron Force One, I can tell you. But to paraphrase Monty Python, what did the Americans ever do for us? How important is this relationship to us business-wise? Everyone says it is, you know, but the world is opening up.
I'm not a big fan of war, and I think the relationship, you know, has not been great from a war perspective, because I think the special relationship goes against us, because I think America is the stronger of the two parties, and I think we get sucked into what somebody else is doing and we tend to follow. So I think from that point of view, it's not a good thing. From a business point of view, I think it is exceptional. I think the UK and the US are probably the greatest trading partners. The value of the joint relationship is worth just about £62 billion a year. It creates 1 million jobs for the UK economy, because right now, in these very difficult times, an economy outside of the UK that contributes 1 million jobs is invaluable, I think.
Now, it's hard to recall a budget where the members of the government have conducted negotiations quite so publicly. The Tories want to ditch the 50p rate, and the Lib Dems are determined the price will be much higher taxes on wealth. But who counts as wealthy in 2012? Are you, for example, wealthy if you've got a big house, but a big mortgage too? Or what if you're a higher rate taxpayer, but you've got a brood of hungry dependents? Or how about if you live in a smaller house, but holiday abroad, drive a flash car, and have a bit of a taste for champagne? James, it actually is quite difficult when you get down, get down to it, to talk about who is wealthy and who's not. There's been a huge debate about this politically. It's very easy to say that someone earning £150,000 a year is getting a good income. Wouldn't it be fairer and more efficient to just stick with a 50p tax rate?
I suppose you're referring to the mansion tax here that they're talking about.
Yes, the potential trade-off, but it's clear the Tories want to ditch the 50p rate. Are they right to do so?
I mean, I think they are, because, I mean, I was at Davos recently, and at the World Economic Forum there was a table of the country that was least encouraging hard work and incentivising people to work hard and to do well, and the UK tax structure was the least attractive. So I think that's not a great message to be sending out. I read an article today where one of the big software giants, Aviva, was saying that the 50p tax is really affecting their ability to attract scientists into the country. So I think right now there are a number of people who are leaving the country because 50p tax, if you take, for example, in America, the highest tax rate is 35%. In Germany, it's 40%. So for Britain to be the highest tax society in the Western economy cannot be great for our economy. We're trying to build an economy, stimulate jobs and attract investment into the country. So to be perceived as the highest tax rate society cannot be good for business. One
of the interesting areas of the debate is this kind of concentration on the 40p tax rate payers, actually, you know, losing child benefit, potentially having a raid on their kind of pension provision. Is that, I mean, Yvette's going to say it is a political mistake, but is that a mistake in terms of this debate?
John, can I just give you the specifics? When you talk about the people who pay the higher rate tax, to me, are the job creators. They are the wealth creators.
Why don't they cut corporation tax?
No, so let me finish. So those people, if you take the top 5% taxpayers in this country, they contribute 47% of the taxes being collected, which accounts nearly £47 billion a year. So you're already overly taxing them because...
What do you think of a mansion tax, James?
Well, I mean, what concerns me with a mansion tax is what you're then doing is you're creating a society that says, on your way in, you pay 50% tax, you've got to earn it to buy that property. On the way in, you then get clobbered again because you're paying 5% stamp duty, which is higher because it's an expensive property. Then you pay the mansion tax, so while you're owning the house, you're paying that, and then when you die, you've got to pay inheritance tax. I mean, how are we going to create a successful society and encourage entrepreneurialism and encourage business? Because these are people, if you're talking about jobs,
these are
the
fair
people who
point
create
that,
jobs.
That you have to create an environment in which wealth can be created.
You do.
Finally tonight, you can imagine the conversation between the Queen and her grandson. I'm sorry, dear boy. The bad news is it's Jamaica, Belize and Brazil for you, with a lot of beach volleyball and scantily clad models.
When it became clear that I was to represent my grandmother in Belize, my heart leapt.
I'm just wild about Harry.
He continues to carry on the mission of his mom and also the Queen.
He's very handsome. Kisses of his kisses fills me with ecstasy.
Don't worry, because every little thing is going to be all right.
Wild about Harry, and he's just wild about me.
Is Harry a great business ambassador or a business ambassador you could do without?
No, I think the royal family is one of our greatest assets, and I think the new young royals, you know, Harry, William, I think they do us the world of good, and I think Kate has brought that glamour that Princess Di brought here, and I think that for the country is fantastic.
Well, I actually wondered, is there a kind of bit of a Princess Di-shaped hole in our heads, hearts, whatever, that Harry is filling? Is that part of the psyche?
You've got to give him credit. He actually did an amazing job. I thought when he stood up and made that speech and said, "Look, I'm sorry, but the Queen can't be here, but in Jamaica, you know, no woman, no cry." I thought it was a great Bob Marley line. I thought it was very good. You know, I think he's got humour. You know, he stood there with confidence. He engaged with everybody. And I think right now, you know, with the Jubilee year coming, to have that representation around the world, I think we should be really proud of what they're doing. I think going forward, William and Harry and Kate, I think actually will revive the monarchy, and I think we should be proud of that.